Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel once again. About a month ago, I posted a video of the Sandyland RC 30-mile-per-hour car from Amazon, and unboxed it and took it for a quick ride, and now I'm going to do a review after I've probably done around 15 or 20 charge cycles on it. And I've been pretty rough with it. Not in the sense of jumping, but in the ideas of taking it through rough terrain and putting some real stress on the motor, and I've had a few pretty fast crashes. Now, I've gone ahead and done the liberty of taking off with the body clamps. So we'll take a look at it, and it's still pretty clean. I actually rinsed this out the best I could. I'm gonna readjust this a little bit better. But first thing upon getting this car was that the suspension was crazy stiff. I mean, it was really stiff. I mean, and it's still fairly stiff. But as I've rode it, it has loosened up, and it's a much better performing vehicle because of that. Now, don't get me wrong, it is still very bouncy, making it difficult to keep traction in some rougher terrain, you know, especially if there's pine cones and or little twigs and sticks, things like that is constantly running over. It's a little bit more difficult to control. But for $70, so far this has been a really quality car, honestly. The biggest thing I've had during crashes come apart is in the steering linkage. It's these guys right here. They pop off their own little ball connectors, and they just snap right back in place. And basically what happens is one wheel comes loose from the linkage and it goes all over the place, really. But I've only done that from a head-on crash twice. And one other time, one of the axles barely came out of its slot right here and kind of got jammed. And I was able to force it back into place, and we were good to go. Now the heat sinks on the motor, they're definitely needed. This thing definitely builds up some heat when you're running through thick grass. I mean, this gets pretty hot. And I like to think, you know, if it's too hot to touch, it's probably about time to slow it down. And if you actually run both batteries through this thing, say you charge both batteries and immediately put the other one in, you could really build up some heat with it if you were riding on thick grass. But overall, I haven't had a problem yet. I haven't smelt anything funny coming out of it or anything like that. So far so good. I think the biggest complaint with this car really is just the suspension. You know, it doesn't have gas-filled shocks, but you know, who's gonna expect that? There's a little bit of slack in some of the linkages. The steering is a little loose. You know, when you're riding on asphalt, you can see that a little bit. The car may suddenly jerk to one side or the other, but seriously, for $70, it's a very fun little car. Now, does it go 30 miles per hour? Absolutely not. It doesn't get anywhere near that. It gets the fastest I clocked it. I put my phone with the GPS app under the body, and the fastest I recorded it was 13 miles per hour. And let me go ahead and tell you, 13 miles per hour for this little car is fast. If it actually did go 30 miles per hour, it just would not be physically controllable. This thing has great brakes, great acceleration. You know, with a fresh charge, you can easily flip it over, and it's always wheeling, going wherever. If you'd like a starter car to see if you really get into this hobby thing, this is the way to go. You know, just to give it a try. We'll turn it on real fast. Turn on the receiver. You got all your controls, your trims and all. It's got great steering. Pretty fast. My trim is actually off right now. Sorry. Don't know how that happened, but very torquey. I said the brakes are great in this car also. But actually doesn't allow we're getting much movement out of the steering. Oh, no wonder. All of my settings are off right now. I don't know what happened. I guess my son was playing with it. There we go. Very fast steering for the car, I think. The steering rate trim was down, and my throttle trim is also down. But yeah, so if you have a kid, also you can turn the throttle trim down and slow it down for him. I mean, that's pretty responsive, I'd say. So it's got a good servo on the car. It's extremely torquey. And I mean, yeah, it's a little rough. It's got some cheaper components to it. But for instance, one thing you can tell if you were to roll the car, you can feel it hit rough spots. Honestly, it's kind of hard to roll. But that's just the nature of the car so far, and you know, you get what you pay for. But if you want to see if you like the hobby car thing, give this one a try. I'll put an Amazon affiliate link in the description, and let me know what you think.